Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ocus Norton here. It's been a while since I've done a video like this. I just kind of figured I would stop in and do an update for you guys, just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on with my channel. So for you guys who used to follow me, to kind of get updates on model railroading and all that other fun stuff. I won't say that I've actually gotten out of the hobby. It's just I've kind of put it on the sidelines. And I've started doing some other things. So I grew up in a musical background, playing drums in church, playing in the band through school, starting out in middle school all the way through high school. But my biggest thing that I used to do was play drums in church. I got involved with a few churches back when we lived on the West Coast. The church we went to in Yuma, I did some playing for them. And then I also played when we lived in Oceanside, at a church there in Fallbrook for a small amount of time right before we left. And then soon after we got here to North Carolina, I found I was going to be deploying. Went over to Norway for a little while, and I did some time over there. And while I was gone, my wife found another church for us to start going to. And that church, I found kind of a unique spot that has been a blessing to me. And started out with working with the praise team, and then went over and did an exercise in Yuma, Arizona. And as I was coming back from that, I noticed that they were starting the online services and stuff like that. Figuring out where all this video editing stuff that I had been kind of digging into but not really taking it anywhere was taking me, and that was to actually start doing some video editing for our church. And so I've kind of taken on a role to help out with that around the church, and then along with trying to help out where I can in the music program. But for me, on a personal note, I am working now building up my internal home studio. And so I figured what I would do for my first video, because I have had some people ask me this: hey man, what are you recording with? They've seen some of the videos I've already put out there. If you guys haven't seen it already, I'll leave a link in the description below to a couple of my cover videos I've already done. But I'm already looking at doing more of those. And so I figured for the start of it, what I'll do is I'll start with a actual kind of tour of the small little room that I'm working with right now to build into my, I guess you could say, home studio. And I've had a couple buddies come over and hang out, and we jammed out, made a little small video together. It's been a great time. So I figured I'd give you guys a tour. So stay tuned, and we'll go into exactly what I'm doing for my home studio. Alright guys, as you can see as you walk into the studio, this is the layout that we have here. As you look, you'll see I'm sharing this space with my wife. And she actually has her sewing area. This is also part of our laundry room as well. Kind of weird. But I have my TD6 drum set back there in the back. That is actually my old kit that I used back when I lived in the barracks. And then I decided when I moved here, I wanted to get another acoustic set, because I do miss playing acoustic drums. It's not the same as an electric kit. Talked to the wife. We found some good deals online, and this is what we came up with. Alright guys, so here's the actual kit. It's a Pearl Export Series set, sort of similar to what I had back in the day when I lived in my hometown. And so I decided when I saw this one for $600, I couldn't pass it up. Comes with 4 toms, but I'm only using 3 of those. I'm using the 12, 13, and 16. Got a 22-inch kick, and then running a 14-inch snare. So it's really nice. I like the heads, the snare head. I actually changed that out to a dry head, and then I'm running the Evans 360 tom head. So, as far as cymbals go, the kit came with the cymbals that you see here, which are Wuhan. I'm running a 14-inch hat over here, along with a 16-inch thin crash, an 18-inch ride crash, and then a 19-inch thin crash, and a 20-inch medium heavy ride. So these are the cymbals I'm currently running. Cymbals that I thought were hard to find, but just the other day I was on Sweetwater, and it seems like there still seems to be quite a few of these around. At first, I didn't really like them. They had kind of a trashy sound to them, but I've learned to love them. So currently, I'm running these CAD mics. These were a gift, I should say, that were given to me by another Marine. He currently, and I will link his Instagram below, is on recruiting duty. And as he was leaving, he noticed that I was doing some drum cover stuff and said, "Hey, brother, I got some mics. I can't use them. I don't want to sell them. However, you look to be starting to do some drum cover stuff and look like you would be very interested in this because you are very interested in the recording." So this came with enough mics to mic each individual drum to include the kick, along with 2 overheads that you can see here as well that I'm using for miking my overheads. And for any of you guys that are familiar with miking, I'll do a better in-depth video on exactly how I set these up. But there are some considerations that you got to come into play when you're figuring out exactly how you want to mic your drums. As far as what I'm using to record the mics, so I did a lot of research, I did a lot of digging, and I'll be honest, I was trying to cut some corners here, and I didn't want to blow a lot of money because I didn't know how serious I was going to get about this. But after doing some research and digging, I actually found this board fairly cheap. This is about a $700 board. It's the PreSonus Live AR16 that comes with a USB interface. What that means for any of you who are not familiar with that means I can run it directly into my computer via USB, and I can pull individual lines from every channel on here, just as if I was and record them as individual channels, just like any kind of studio would do for their live recording. It's not an actual what you would call a digital mixer, and the fact that if I make adjustments here, it affects what happens on the inside of my recording software. However, it does go directly into my recording software for recording the music. Alright guys, so this is my digital audio workstation known as Logic Pro 10. So if any of you guys have ever worked with things such as GarageBand, think about the GarageBand but on crack. So this thing has all kinds of plugins. You got multiple plugins you can download online, and you can just do a crazy amount of stuff with this. You can plug in a MIDI player or a MIDI keyboard into it and play your different notes. It'll write sheet music for you. It does all kinds of great stuff. But for me, just for the recording of my drums portion, typically what I'll do is I'll run my tracks inside of here, and then I'll take those tracks and then run next to those. I will do individual inputs for the drums, so then I can mix them, add different effects to them, and things of that nature. You'll also see down in the bottom there, you'll see my iPad, which is another capability of Logic to where you can do a mobile control of it. So I can actually sit there, and while I'm on my drums, I can use that to actually hit record and start the recording of my drums or any tracks that I'm doing while I'm doing the recording. So an amazing software that is put out by Apple, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. So if I could recommend any of this stuff to you guys, this would be the software I would use. There's others out there such as Ableton and other software, but this is the one that I prefer. One, because it came with the package when I bought my computer. And so what I will probably do later down the road, and like I said, I'm a novice at this stuff, and I'm still learning. But I can show you guys kind of the way I mix my drums, and I can do a more in-depth video about that later down the road as we go along this journey of building my in-home studio. Alright guys, so that's going to wrap it up for the first video that I've done for this in-home studio project that I'm working on. It's going to be a work in progress, so I've got a lot of plans, a lot of different things I want to do. I want to add some acoustic foam inside the room, or maybe even look at doing a different room. I actually have a separate shed outside the house that I could use. However, it would take a lot of work in order to get that one in good shape, and right now we're looking at probably being here for at least one more year. But we want to try to maintain this house as long as we can. So right now, this is going to be the primary place that I do everything out of. But for you guys that's been asking, what am I using? What do I recommend? This is kind of what I would say is a very good starter kit. Maybe the board's a little bit much for somebody, so you might be looking at more of just an audio interface itself. They go for a little bit cheaper. And if you talk to me, I can give you some links. And I'll put some links in the description below for all of this equipment so you guys can look it up. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. And please click that like button, comment, subscribe, and just follow this. I don't do this for the money. I just do it for fun and to collaborate with others. Thank you guys for joining me, and y'all have a blessed day.